Professor, what is your worst impression?
You were right about one thing, Master. The negotiations were short. And, do you know something else? I have the high ground.
I see you have chosen the right path. Henceforth, you will be known as a wimp. Welcome to the Worst Impressions Podcast. There's something strange in here. What's the deal with wimps? Wimps, grilled onions, pepper jack cheese, and your own Wimp Nation.
Oh, welcome to Worst Impressions. I am your host, Erik Anderson. Here at Worst Impressions, we get to know folks from all corners of the multiverse, or Wimpaverse. Join me in my journey through podcast land. If you like what you hear, check out the Patreon for the show. You'll be the first fans to see each episode as they will be uploaded early, as well as access to the Discord server, link in the show notes. If you'd like to support the show for free, simply share the show with your friends, send a link on social media, write worst impressions in lipstick on a loved one, and tell your congressperson. And if you remember, and if you want to see the live show in Waco, click the link in the show notes, September 13th. And if you remember after all that, hit that follow or subscribe button and or like button and rate the show 5 stars. Now let's get on with the show. Welcome, Professor.
Welcome.
Welcome, Kelly Parker. Last time we didn't have sound effects.
What is this magic you have in this room?
Ah, the Professor has arrived. From henceforth, you will be known as the Professor.
Oh, why, thank you. I'll try to live up to that moniker.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
It's so exciting to have you. Let's okay, before we start the questions,
Okay.
we gotta see how you do in the Wimp Challenge, the Wimp Crucible, the Wimp Gauntlet. Names still pending after all this time. Okay. You're gonna knock this out of the park.
Okay, I'm gonna try. Do my best.
Let me refresh you on the rules.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna say, "Welcome to Worst Impressions. I am." You can say your name or the character you're playing. And you can improvise however you like to do.
Okay.
Rub some stank on it.
Mm.
But I'm going to give you a prompt, and whatever that prompt kind of, inspires you to do, try to do it in that voice.
Okay.
Okay? Number 1. Welcome to Worst Impressions.
Welcome to Worst Impressions. My name is...
Number 1. Southern.
Welcome, I say. Welcome to Worst Impressions. I believe they are the worst, or so I have heard. My name is Beauregard Reginald Aloysius Smith the Third. I do say the vapors are mighty oppressive, almost as oppressive as your mama was last night.
I gotta keep it together. Number 2. An animated character.
Oh my God. Welcome to the Worst Impressions. My name is Kelly Parker. Oh my God.
No, wait, what is that from?
Adventure Time?
Adventure Time? Oh my God!
Lumpy,
why am I missing? Yeah,
Lumpy Space Princess?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
LSP?
Oh, sorry.
Same initials as my
I'm going to
child.
cut that part where I didn't. Okay, number 3.
Your favorite character, Lumpy Space Princess.
Yes. Number 3. Number 3 is a choice. You have the choice between a politician, bro, or Valley Girl.
Welcome to Worst Impressions. My name is what? What is my name? I'll get back to you on that. But welcome. Good to see you, everybody.
I'm trying to. Is that?
It's my very weak Ronald Reagan.
That's
impression.
Reagan.
Yes. Dating myself.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Like, welcome. Oh, I could have thrown in a Nancy, reference.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Nancy. But
Awesome.
it's a week. It's a week.
Reagan. I was like, is it Bush Senior? But yeah, I didn't have enough Reagan in my life to know that right off the rip. But good job. Good job. That was awesome.
Hey, they're worst impressions.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, they're the worst.
Remember that, audience. Worst impressions.
No, you're actually ruining the title by doing so well. Number 4.
Okay.
If a couch could talk. Now, just let it inspire you.
Okay.
Let it inspire you.
Welcome to Worst Impressions. My name is Sealy Posturpedic.
Sponsored by Sealy Posturpedic.
Do they do couches? Do they do couches? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they do now. No, you're hired. You're hired. Number 5. Now just let it inspire you. European. So anything then European.
Prego.
Number 6. A character from film.
Hello there. Welcome to Worst Impressions. My name is Obi-Wan Kenobi or Ben Kenobi or Obi Ben Doggy, all these other things. It's something.
Obi Ben Doggy.
Yes. Which is, your older viewers may catch that reference.
Ooh, okay.
A really bad film.
Number 7 is a bonus round.
Okay.
You've already smoked them all. You can stop here, cut your losses, see how the audience reacts, or you can do number 7 as a bonus. It's anything you want.
Okay. I think in honor of my little daughter who's about to be 11 months old, I'm going to read her favorite little thing. Lunch, I like to munch. I like to munch my tasty lunch. Lunchy, munchy, munch, lunch. When I'm hungry, I munch a bunch.
Yay! Oh my gosh. We've got the professor in the studio today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. You just smoked the whole game. We can just stop right here. I think we're going to stop the podcast. I think it's done.
Obviously, I'm choking now, so.
Yeah, take a swig. No, literally, I didn't when I was using Randy as a guinea pig, I didn't realize that I'd be laughing. Like I was crumpling my bottle. I was like, oh God. And I was just losing my mind. So yeah, take as much time as you need. That was great. Let us know in the comments whether, if you're on Spotify, you can leave comments. If you're on YouTube, definitely on YouTube. But yeah, Kelly, the professor, killed it. Oh, we need a sound. Let's see. The professor.
I like that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. The professor.
Oh, I like that.
What is this?
Hello, everyone.
Well, we don't want that one. The professor. Oh my gosh. The Taco Bell.
The bell.
The bell. Thank you so much for being here. This is a huge.
Thank you for having me.
Kelly Parker has been here once before. He was here when it was just a very small operation. It was just a dark room that I lured you in here.
Yes.
And you tricked you more and it was just audio. Just audio.
It was just audio.
And now we got you in front of the people.
I know the cameras and the background and the electric sign.
I'm very excited. I know
Illumination.
a lot of thanks, man. I know a lot of people are gonna be super pumped to see.
I'm
you.
super pumped.
Good deal. Okay.
To see them, because I can see you.
Yeah,
If you don't
it's
know,
two ways.
I can see you.
Okay, first question. What have you been up to, man?
Lots of things. We just did the theater department. As I say, the royal we.
The royal we.
The royal we. Did a little bit of, I guess a little over a month ago now. Is it? Yeah. A little over a month ago, did a trip to London. With the theater and opera students.
Which you guys conveniently started doing right as you made me leave.
Yeah, right. As we kicked you out into the world.
Erik and his gang of idiots, they're all gone. We can actually go somewhere safe.
I often think of, and I think I've said this to you before, like in some ways, me doing all these trips that I've done for, I think it's now like 10 years of doing trips.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't say that. But
I know.
Like, well, I'm going to cut that out. But yeah, it's been 10 years.
Is in some ways like penance, because while I'm on those trips, I often think of you and your classmates, Mitchell, Jen, Savannah, and Nebraska. Yeah. And like, oh man.
Nebraska.
The Nebraska.
Yeah.
That we would have had so much friggin'
it would have been
fun.
awesome. Yeah.
It would have been ridiculous. And not to sell short, I do have a great deal of fun.
Not to sell short, but it would have been the best group.
It would have.
I can say that.
It would have. Undoubtedly.
At the time.
I mean, there would have been some outliers in there that we would have been like,
we're just like, we can't.
We're locking them in the room.
Let me give you an out here, because we would have fully ruined it. I'm gonna be honest. We would have ruined it for anybody else.
I don't think so. I know. I don't think you could have topped some of the escapades of the people who followed you.
Randy and I would be dancing in the lobby 3 a.m.
That's fine.
These hotels.
I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that. That's totally acceptable.
Okay, so you went to London.
Yes.
That's awesome. So what was the goal?
Well, we were, a travel course, so we could, experience and immerse ourselves in theater and music, and it's supposed to be opera, but we couldn't time the right opera when we were there, unfortunately. But we saw a ballet at the Royal Opera House, and then, we went to the Globe, Shakespeare's Globe. We had a tour there. Some of us saw two shows there. We saw Romeo and Juliet. The Romeo and Juliet they're doing right now is set in the Wild Wild West.
Really?
So
they're all British?
Well, and that's the thing. They start out like two households, both alike in dignity. In fair Verona, where we and then they drop it. Then they drop it.
They really do?
And some of the characters come back, they're like, partner or whatever. And then they go back into like, no, now we're British. But they're rootin' tootin' and
they're rooting tootin' the whole time. Okay.
And some of the gunfights, you realize you're hit by one bullet and you're
infected.
That's it. But they're like, yeah, exactly. There's a little bit of that going on.
And then
slow motion dying where they're like, and then they conveniently sit in a seat, in a chair or something. I mean, it was all stylistic and intentional, but it was interesting. It was interesting.
So when you say they dropped it, did they go? So other characters came in? Were they just English accent? Were they?
Yeah, they're British accents,
just doing their natural,
different
whatever?
British class accents, and then every once in a while they would country it up purposely and then go back.
Were they attacking the lower class? Were they? Well, let's be honest.
Well, all of the Southern folk were like the older people, the parents and stuff, the Capulets and the people in power.
They were from the old country.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Okay,
they're from the proper South. With mint juleps and vapors.
Something ain't right about these new ones. No, that's so funny.
Yeah, and then they also doing, which was amazing, the Crucible in that space. And that they did use their British class accents,
Yeah.
and it made the show work
Yeah.
on another level
Yeah.
because you were seeing like, oh, the judges and they have these posh,
Right.
educated accents, and then John Proctor and some of the other people of Salem are just regular folk,
Was there anybody like just traditionally famous in any of
I
these?
don't think so.
Because I'm
Possibly, I recognize some of like the guy playing John Proctor and whatnot, and I may have recognized him from British TV stuff or whatever, but I don't think so.
okay. I was just wondering.
And
'cause-
the R&J cast was very, up and coming actors.
Gotcha. Yeah, for some reason, the Crucible's been going. Like, I feel like people are like back on the Crucible.
That happens
recently.
That happens historically. It's kind
Yeah.
of like any sort of anti-war play or whatever, or when
Please learn me on it. As again, one of the through lines of me talking to theater folks on here is I always have to admit I'm just like I don't have an encyclopedia like knowledge of shows I just don't like they'll be like, oh, you know that show, and I'm just like, no. Yes, but no.
I know it.
You know what I mean? And I can't remember what happens in the Crucible, but I've just seen that they're talking about it now.
Well,
There's
and
bigger-
it was
there's bigger
it was
productions of it.
originally written by Arthur Miller in the 1950s as a reaction to the Red Scare and McCarthyism, and so it's a whole metaphor for McCarthyism of where he took these actual things that did happen, the Salem witch trials,
Right.
where
That's
people
what-
were
yeah, that's
like,
Salem witch.
"Oh, you're a witch. I would like to own your property. You're a witch. I saw you with the devil," and
Gotcha.
and we're and this was happening in certain pockets of Massachusetts and New England, and so Arthur Miller, the playwright, was like, "Is happening again," and used that framework and storyline as a metaphor for the Red Scare and all that. So anytime there, which seems to be more frequent, a lot, every couple years, every now and then,
Yeah.
where you feel like there's government overreach
What?
or witch hunt or witch hunting, whatever, in whatever shape form.
I've never heard of government overreach.
No thing.
That's
Then-
unheard of.
Then it's the Crucible kind of goes boop, 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 boop,
Yeah.
it pops up again.
Yep.
Um,
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Well, so while you were in London, was there anything interesting that happened while you were there? Like, did anything? Because last time you
Yes.
you had some hilarious just stories of students and just crazy things happen. Did anything on that level happen while you were there?
We had a really awesome group this time.
Okay.
Not that the other groups weren't awesome, but we did, and everyone was so happy to be there, so eager and respectful of the culture and the people.
Good, yeah.
Even some of we saw a few shows that were kind of rolls of the dice of like, this could be interesting, and we were going, and I'm sitting there going, should we leave? What? Like
the show was
the
like
quality
too-
of it.
was bad.
It was just not good. It was just not good.
That's awesome.
It was not good. Like
What is the worst show you've ever? I mean, okay. Beside, I know you've.
Oh.
I know. I don't even know if you can talk about. I know you've judged.
That's
high schools.
That's another
yeah.
thing. We
I
leave
guess
that to the side.
We'll say like professional or off.
Yeah, professional.
Off
New York,
professional.
New York,
even.
London, professional theater.
What's the worst show you've seen?
That's a toughie. I'm trying to think there. It could have been this last trip where and
just
I mean
stuck
I'll
at-
name it. They're not going to come for me.
Come over here.
We saw a new musical which was exciting. Like new musical called Stiletto, and
Okay.
it's supposed to be about a great famous castrati opera singer
Right.
and his life and all that. And we're going there with music, with opera kids and musical theater students, and we're like, wow, what this little merge.
Yeah,
and
that's perfect.
And I went, okay, cool, but it hadn't opened yet. There are no reviews out yet by the time
So
we
it is
booked it.
completely fresh.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
freshest of fresh.
Yeah. My one morning when we were looking at booking it, and I have done these trips for the last few years with Mandy Morrison, who's a head of the chair of the Visual and Performing Arts program at NCC, and was the opera director for many years there, and so we were looking at, and I noticed that it's in this little theater called the Charing Cross Theater at Charing Cross in London.
Yeah.
And it's little. Like it's probably seats like maybe 150 people, 100. And it's like a big long, and I was like, it's even weird shape. I noticed that from the seating chart, like it's big, long, and skinny, and little stage. I'm like, oh, but to be fair, in New York, I've seen some of the best things in the world in the really small spaces.
Right.
But warned now. So we rolled the dice. We went in there, and like right from the beginning, and the costumes were good. The orchestra, they had like a harp playing live on stage. It was really cool. Set was really cool. Was like, wow, that set is great. Lighting was pretty damn good. It was great. And then they started singing. It feels like it's written in the style of like a 80s, 90s, like Les Mis model mode. So the style of the musical has that Les Mis like sort of feel.
The timbre and
moody.
I'm
in the city.
Yes.
Whatever. They didn't sing that. And
sounds.
And so we were
interesting.
assuming that like castrati. So castrati, and you know what a castrati is. So,
yes. Yes.
yes.
They were
castrated. Yes. They were young boys
Yes.
who were great singers, and they're like, we're going to save your voice.
Yep.
We're going to castrate you, and you're going to grow up, and then you can, as you age, you're going to keep your young boy voice, but then you're going to have the musculature and the air of a man. So then you can create this amazing sound that everyone was dying for.
I asked for my birthday every year
to be castrated.
I was like, I just
to be castrated.
It would be great. I would be
Mama.
But anyways,
Santa didn't come and castrate me this year.
Oh my god.
Ho ho ho. You're standing like, Dad.
Oh my god.
Cole, we're getting that boy Cole.
Santa in the Renaissance or whatever era this was. It was just a different type of Santa Claus. Good God.
So we thought like there would be some really cool singing and stuff like that. And I pointed this out at intermission because I was like, oh,
you guys. So you made it to intermission,
right? And I was just like, what is happening? And the actor who played the castrati singer, I forget the character's name, like he sang fine, but he has a normal male, like baritone-y, high tenor-y Broadway voice or whatever, musical theater voice. So he never like, and like, so, but when he had to do that, he would come out amazingly in a costume and a mask. And it was obviously a woman coming out to like sing.
Okay.
So that's a clever way to do that.
Sure.
But that was only done like once or twice. Like the whole play was about this romance between this street girl and him and that and Stab and his voice teacher was in love with him and jealousy, murder, and it was bizarre.
Interesting.
But what I told my students at the time, as I was trying to rationalize, like, okay, we could have seen what? We could have seen Phantom of the Opera. Even though Phantom of the Opera is like, you're like, hey, are we really going to go see Phantom of the Opera?
I would have loved it.
Right. I've seen it like
to.
5 or 6 times, but I was just like, I didn't want to be cliche, but man, we should have been cliche.
Should have been.
So
you're starting to sound like a Hollywood producer these days. Just like, what are we trying to do here? What is this artistic? Guys,
let's just see Family Opera.
Can we just do,
Fast
and Furious 12?
Do a little I'll Ask If You, Music of the Night, Bob's Your Uncle, and we're done.
Exactly. Just put a bow on it and go home.
Go home. Yeah, go sleep, guys. But I was thinking about, I'm like, you know what? All these actors on stage are employed.
Right.
They're making money. They're busting their chops up there with the material they have, which is a little sketchy. But they didn't write it. Like, it's not their fault.
Yeah, right.
And they're just getting a paycheck.
They're the vessels. Yeah. And that they're doing their job as being a vessel.
And they're being successful professional actors.
Yeah.
And that is what,
many
of our students, so bravo to them.
And it's probably a really good example for, any of them that like get up to that level.
Right.
There's like, that could happen.
Right.
Like, it's like, you might get a stinker.
Right.
And you have no choice.
And it's not a proper, it's like off West End or, the equivalent of, because it's a small space. But I mean, it's in the West End. It's a professional gig. It's a musical theater gig in London. And they're, so yeah, that was a stinker.
Yeah.
That was a stinker. But I saw amazing other shows there. I saw such a funny show that like I have dreams of doing like with the gang from your generation and myself somehow. The comedy about spies is written by the same people who did The Play That Goes Wrong and Peter Pan That Goes Wrong. Oh, it was just so freaking, it was just every spy cliche from the 50s and 60s and like just hilarious.
I love a good spy cliche.
Oh, it's so good.
I love
it's
a spy cliche. I love a heist.
Yeah,
anything
and there's all
cliches,
of that in there. Yeah, all
like,
of that in there.
The Rick and Morty is like, you son of a bitch. I'm in. Like that stuff kills me. Like assembling a team. Yeah, love it.
Yep.
It's like, we got to round up the crew. Like we need a bunker buster, a grease man. We need an ingenue to like sneak past the guards and like all this stuff. That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be really fun.
Yeah, no, it was awesome, and we saw. We went to museums and other things there too as well, but we saw the new production of Starlight Express, which Andrew Lloyd Webber's very odd musical about trains.
Yeah, that's the Starlight Express.
From which most people now know today from Family Guy. Starlight Express, Starlight Express, Starlight Express, which is really not that far off.
Because McFarlane he loves all big showbiz and Broadway stuff, so he's gonna do it right when he makes the jokes.
Because whenever there's like song Starlight Express, Starlight Express, Starlight, like it always returns to the Starlight Express. And it was crazy insane, built like in this new theater by Wembley Stadium, like insanely loud. I'm still deaf from it. And like if you have any, I was a little worried about some of our students. I'd be like, oh no, they're going to explode with so much stimulation because there's like fireworks and lasers and they're roller skating around you.
They're overstimulated.
And there are projections and smoke and the speakers. But like I saw it and I survived.
That's awesome.
And even though at the time I was like, wow, that was so much. But now I'm like, I do it again, man. It's like that roller coaster that you're like, oh, you're terrified on. You're like,
hit me.
Exactly. I want another taste of that sweet, sweet Starlight Express.
That's sweet.
Give me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, we see stuff, and then we get a lot of backstage tours at the Globe. We did at the National Theater. That was a National Theater tour is amazing, and so we get to get into spaces and talk to people and stuff like that, and.
That's awesome.
It's just really great. And I feel like I may have said this before, but I feel so much about international travel, as you know, from going to New Zealand, which was our first travel course. Yeah. But then we've never gone back to since because.
Oh, really?
Well, I think it's just, I know a different faculty member had family in New Zealand, so he kind of geared it all.
Oh, okay.
But like, and as you know, like that no easy trip going to New Zealand. It's complicated.
Very complicated. Like you got to be all in. Like there's no. I had to just get a car.
Right. We had to have a big tour bus,
and that seems crazy because like I guess in London you're just like kind of walking everywhere.
Yeah, that's a great thing about it. It's like New York City. We get to the airport. We take the Heathrow Express to Covent Garden, London. Off we go. We walk and take the tube everywhere and don't have to, and then, it's easy peasy. Yeah,
to get to see everything, you got to get on wheels and get a driver or drive yourself or whatever and go all across. And there's two main islands or whatever.
Right.
And if you only see one, and we only saw one.
Yeah, I was only on the North Island.
Yeah, we missed that whole other part where like Mount Doom is on the other side.
Right.
And I was like, man, do we do the thing where you like, you get on like a day plane or not a day. Well, it's like everything. whatever. It's like a small plane that just does the island hop for you. But yeah, that it is tough, but it is so awesome.
It is. It's great.
And but it's a long ride to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, I've never. Like that almost broke me.
Yeah.
That ours, I think 16 and a half hours or something. Ours was something like that.
Yeah. And it was brutal because, well, so we got lucky because we did like a connecting flight, and the first flight there was some like a crew of like toddlers behind us, and we were just like, it's fine. This is the short one. This is the connecting one to San Francisco or whatever it was. And the flight attendants felt bad for us, and they were like, we'll give you a free, not a full upgrade, but like give you guys something on the next whatever flight it was. And we were like, well, our next flight is 14 or 16 hours or whatever. And they was like, yeah. And so they moved us up to that front row where you get like
where you
more
can just
space.
lay out.
And that saved us because I was like, there's no way. No. And so on the one back, I like made sure we like manually got it because I could not do the coach just like.
Well, you're a tall boy. Like my little leprechaun legs are, are even squished a little on those flights. I
can't imagine. Oh my God, I can't imagine. How long is the one to London?
We flew out of Austin. It's about 9, like 8.5, 9.
Okay.
So,
still tough.
It is, and I'm thinking when we go, because we'll go New York next year and then go back to London the following year. I'm thinking of looking at breaking it up, and like, all right, let's fly to Boston or fly to New York first, have a little break, and then go on. Even though that is a little more complicated, but because the direct flight is nice because you're there and then you're there, but that
we only have to gather these
right herd them and not lose any of them.
I'm stuck in Boston.
Yeah. Oh my God. And that's why we've been there. And that's why I thought no direct flight. But this last time, and our return flight got delayed because of rain. Imagine that, it got delayed in rain in Heathrow. Not that they ever fly in rain, but like we were on the tarmac like 2.5 hours before taking off, stuck in the plane. So it turned into like a 12-hour flight.
My God.
And like that's pushing it. And I can't sleep on planes. Like I try, I cannot.
I got to a point where I was like, I can't go on. I was like, oh.
Homer Simpson out.
I know. I actually do. I do eat. Like I'll eat myself to death.
That's what I do too.
Go to sleep.
Yeah, that's what I have to do. Just like
overload sugar and then just go. But so while you were in London,
yes,
you were.
Yes, while
you told. Before
other than being on the trip with my students,
you had this hilarious
objective in London.
You had this insane idea, and I was just like, "All right, let's see what you got."
Right.
Tell them what your idea was.
So
it's a good idea. By the way, it's a
great idea.
I'm not shitting on the idea.
And it's mine.
This is a really good, amazing. I felt like super blessed that you came to me with this idea.
Yeah,
but I was like. Good luck. Good luck, sir.
So
what are we doing here?
I thought, inspired by the brilliance of Worst Impressions, I thought, well, what if while I'm in London, in all my free time, why don't I do a worst impression of like a cultural attaché or foreign correspondent, in the field for worst impressions.
Extremely flat. I was like, you want to do what?
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I thought it sounded amazing too.
All on your you came to me with an idea, you wanted to collaborate. That's huge for me. Like I was like, wow. And but at the same time I was like, it's tough to go out into the world with a camera and just hello, hello everyone. It's tough. It's awkward. And it's tough to get it right. And you sit there cause what was the plan?
Well, and I thought of doing, a couple of things, and some of the things I did, and we'll see, I thought if they're like pictures and photography and museums, who knows if some of that is just, but I thought of a couple of things, but I thought as we discussed, like I could go up in people and ask them to do their worst impression. And then I realized, as you then later told me,
Just so you know,
people aren't always so comfortable with that
people are
thing.
not like
They're going to be like, what are you asking me?
Even folks when they come all the way to here, they're still just like, what? What do you want me? What do you want me to do?
Even if it was just audio, but and then I thought, well, no. And then you kind of told me no, but what if I break the ice and doing a worst impression, or if I'm just in London doing a worst impression of a bad news person?
We worked it out, but like it is still like you were also going to have to do this alone,
right? That was the realization
while doing like 10 other jobs,
right.
And I was like. I appreciate, like, it was such a good idea, but like, yeah, you're smart. Like, it may be if you snuck me and like Randy in like a bag, we could have maybe done it.
Well, and that actually may in 2 years, not to speak for Randy Dockendorf, right. But there might be the opportunity for him to go on the trip
that would be
to London.
Sick.
And I thought, well, if the two of us are there, and then we can be emotional support animals for each other.
It's so important to have a buddy.
And someone, not just to hold the camera, but to be like, we're doing, you know.
There was
and he's big too, so they're probably not going to.
Yeah, and he's a big, lovable. Like,
yeah.
It's like
he's a teddy bear.
Yeah, it's perfect. But it reminded me of when.
Is that offensive, calling Randy a teddy bear? Is that offensive, audience? No. Is it offensive?
No.
Okay. Are you offended, Randy? Post in the comments.
Attack us.
Yeah, attack us.
But because I had considered doing consider doing a podcast or creating something just on my own and not including guests, like just trying to come up with something, scared me. Like I need, and especially us like theater people, I think we really thrive off of the like we need brains and voices to ping off of each other.
Right.
Like,
and that's the fun part, the collaboration and the back and forth and creating something together. Otherwise, we would be stand-up comedians,
right?
You know, and
that's something that I've just because I've been a huge fan of stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't I ever really think that I could do it? But it's because it's different. Like I really thrive in a multi-level environment with just different voices, different things to ping off of, to riff and all of that stuff. And there's still plenty of space for that. But yeah, being solo and going rogue is so... Not that it takes like courage or intimidation. It's just like, it's uncomfortable. Our natural state, like if it was us three, like in a studio and then interviewing like somebody, we'd nail it. Like it would be so funny. Like we do, but yeah, the folks
in the wild,
the folks that can just go out in the wild and like,
I have so much respect for them now.
Unless they're doing it to be mean or something like crazy, then I'm just like, oh my God. But yeah, like, I'm trying to think who's a good example. Billy on the Street.
I was about to say,
Billy Eichner.
Yeah,
is great at it.
Brilliant. Well, and he was doing it before it was everyone was doing it.
Yeah, now everybody's
and everyone's like, oh, blah, 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 blah.
For $1.
I'm in Italy, you know, and they're just like,
Billy Eichner changed everything.
He really did.
But it took, you could tell, like, he's just like, well, I have to like yell.
Yeah.
It's like I have to yell at them a little and then be their friend and disarm them. And like, it's a whole, like he's producing on the fly. That's a whole other thing too but anyways, it was the biggest, I was like grinning I was just like, that's the coolest thing just for you to be thinking of that.
Oh yeah. I was thinking about it a while and I was like,
was the coolest feeling ever. I was like, somebody wanted to work with me. I was just like, I'm not total trash.
Well, maybe it's just I want to be trash with you.
Get in the dumpster, buddy. Woo! Get in the dumpster. Oh yeah, it's because it's you know like it's interesting. You know, do you consider yourself a writer? Have you ever written like anything?
Funny you
Or
asked that.
yeah.
I'm in the middle of. I'm supposed to be writing like half a play this summer.
Really?
Yeah, not almost against my will, not really, but I did. I mean, a short story, short sidebar. Like I've been doing through University of Colorado. They have this amazing online graduate certificate in applied Shakespeare, and it's
wow.
working with amazing people around the world and exploring Shakespeare. It's been a great thing. I've taken like 3 courses, and then we have to do a capstone. And I was going to do this capstone of like a project and a paper and a presentation about like mental health and Shakespeare and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then I got an idea for a play, a sequel to a Shakespeare play, to Twelfth Night.
Oh my God.
And I'll pitch it just so it's proof that if I never finish it, it was my idea.
Yeah, it's another level.
It's like
Yeah.
a murder mystery, send up of 12th Night called 13th Night.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome.
Or What You Kill. And so I'm getting all the main characters back together. With 12th Night, the idea of so Malvolio, the villain,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
run us
the
through-
bad guy.
Yeah.
At the end of 12th Night, you know, he gets a pretty short end of the stick, and you know, so lots of people have been like, man, wow, what a bad deal for him. I was like, but what if he got revenge? And so somehow I'm still working it out, where the cast of characters comes back a few years later. Malvolio plans this like, you know, his revenge at a chateau or at a castle on an island, and murders and bodies dropping things and stuff. And it's gone through a lot of different permutations in my brain.
Yeah.
But I've taken all the coursework. In order to get my graduate certificate and graduate, I've got to write a play.
Well, there it is.
So
There
I've
we
got,
go.
or at least half a play this summer. So like July, I'm going to be writing a play. So
You got it.
you saying I'm a writer? Not. I have written. But it's funny you say that. So my best friend, like in college, and still, Brian in New York. Like we would write stuff together in high school, and when we were students at MCC, and we wrote a play with Jerry that we
Really?
did, a little musical thing that we did with. It was so much fun.
Wow.
It was just like Brian and Jerry and I like sitting in Jerry's table, like blah, 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 and like writing stuff, and it was great.
That's some
With the Jerry Mac.
That's some lore. Wow.
And so yes, I have written stuff. But like it is not my natural state.
Right. So-
it's rough.
Yeah, what is your natural state then?
I think I like being like performing. Like I can write and compose if I'm doing it and in the moment and stuff is coming out and someone is writing it down.
Yes.
Because then I'm in the flow. But if
Yes.
I'm like at the computer,
That's literally what I was so curious about when I was talking to Nick Webb when he was here. I was like,
I don't know how he does it.
I was like,
I don't know how he does it.
how do you, in between the clickety clacks and like, or the writing or whatever, how do you keep that flow? I cannot, like, it's like,
do it.
I can get a line down and then I'm like, well, that'll be another 24 hours
Right,
before
exactly,
I get before I get
exactly.
that next line, you know, it's like,
Exactly.
it's great, you know, so that's interesting. Yeah. I think we have that in common. Cause writing, I can force myself to do it, and I've been doing it in different things, but I'm so interested. I'm really interested in that being the thing. Like obviously not that's not a natural talent, but just to learn more how to do it.
Right.
You know? So
No, and you know, not to segue too soon, but like Nick Webb, did he? I don't think I've listened to his podcast yet.
he talks about. I don't.
Did
know.
he talk about his play?
He talks about the Song of Iphigenia.
Yeah, which
but
we're producing at MCC next year.
that's part of the lineup.
Yeah, it is.
No
It's
way.
Our final
So it-
show of the season.
No
So,
way.
Yeah,
So
which
that's-
you were part of the, which I'll be calling you and Mitchell for another read through this summer.
Holy moly.
So because he has a new version. So and we're
okay.
gonna rework. We're doing some reworking of things. So we'll talk. We'll talk off camera.
Wow, off the pod talk.
Yeah.
Okay. So that'll be what is that? Q4? How do we talk?
Yeah. So that'll be in
Okay,
April.
so-
That'll be in April.
So for any of the current MCC,
yeah.
students,
Blah, 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 blah.
any current MCC students,
Am I a
what,
writer? No, I'm not a writer.
what is? Yeah. What is the what is the lineup? Or can we say?
So, yeah, we can. So we are opening with a new reworking, very fun reimagining, not even reimagining, but just new version of an old Carlo Gazzi Commedia dell'arte play called The Love of Three Oranges. And I mean the quick and dirty of it is there's this really depressed Prince Tartaglia, and he's like, I'm so sad, and he's so sad, and then his dad, the king, is like, somebody make my boy laugh, make him laugh, and so they keep bringing in people to try and make him laugh, and he's like, I'm sad, and then this witch, Fata Morgana, yes,
really,
that's her name, Fata Morgana.
Interesting.
Comes in and is like, I will make him laugh, or I will bewitch him, or whatever. And so during this process, she like trips, falls down, and her bloomers come up, and like you see her underwear, and he's like, ha 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 ha, and he laughs and comes out of his depression, and she's like, you son of a bitch. And curse, and then she curses him. Okay, this is weird. I mean, Commedia, especially Carlo Gazzi Commedia.
Yeah. This is interesting. Yeah.
Then she curses him to like, you will now have a curse that you must be in love with the three oranges. And so he must, and there's these three like magical oranges.
Okay.
And if he doesn't love them, he dies or something. I don't know. He must go on this quest to find the oranges and figure out the oranges, and
one of them's a grapefruit, and it's like,
yeah,
it's like
exactly.
something. What is? Oh my god!
So that's kind of so it's Commedia. So, and I'm not sure. I'm not directing it. Even though I love the play dearly. Our Corey Burkett, our one of our other directors, she's doing it and stuff. And I don't know how Commedia she's doing it. If she's going to do Mask or not, I don't know. But it's a fun, little crazy show. It's really silly, but it's all like Truffaldino and all the Smeraldina, all the stock Commedia characters.
When for those that don't know, this is McLennan Community College Theater, McLennan Theatre, Waco, Texas. This is the lineup. So what is the fall?
So that'll open in October, and then the second show after that is this is something that that Joe Taylor and I will team up on. I think we'll team up on. As far as I know, Joe. So we both have seen, because I've been to London some, and then Joe got to go to Scotland last Christmas, and I, on my honeymoon, I was in London. I may have told you this for during Christmas a few years ago, and my wife and I saw a Christmas panto. We saw, which is a silly, goofy Christmas, like fairy tale music. They use popular songs and mash them up, and it's just a hoot. Lots of audience participation of like, look right behind you, and whatever, and the main character's like, what do you mean? And turns around, and and someone's gone. Just great tradition of fun and Christmas shows, Peter Pan and whatnot. I saw Mother Goose starring Ian McKellen as Mother Goose, and it was transcendent. It really was transcendent.
He's the best.
No one, he was the naughtiest person in the filthiest mind in the entire cast. And it was just beautiful. But not all comedies are, not all pantos are like that. Some of them are a little more kid friendly. Ours is a little more. So we're doing one called Night Fever, which is an Arthurian tale. So it's a Knights of the Round Table versus the evil Black Knight, and then the young stable boy Justin has to go on a quest to try and save
romanticism,
the realm of Camelot. I mean, no, just silly, stupid.
Okay, silly.
Goofy,
got it.
Goofy, cheesy, really bad jokes, and using whatever popular songs we can find arrangements for and put in with strange lyrics.
This might be my favorite.
Cheese ball, like the stupider, goofier, the better, and a slight little hint of Christmas in it.
That sounds great.
So that'll be our second show that will go up in November, right before Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Night Fever.
Night Fever.
Yeah, exactly. With a K, Knight with a K. The pun.
Interesting.
And then, and because Joe saw a panto in Scotland recently last Christmas, he was like, "Why aren't we doing these?" I'm like, I have always thought this show.
It's just so intense. What are we doing?
What's wrong with us? So we'll see.
Let's get to work right now.
We could at the other end of it be like, we'll never do that again.
Yeah.
That was the worst idea I've ever had.
That was wild.
That was wild. But and then for our musical in the spring, we're gonna do Nonsense, a mega musical sensation. So it's Nonsense, the musical, but they recently, instead of it being like 5, 6 nuns, they've turned it into like this big giant version where you have priests and friars and other nuns, and so it's a big musical. So we're gonna do that. That seemed like a lot of fun, and it's a great, like, it is the second longest running off-Broadway show. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
There's lots of
perfect.
second running off-Broadway show, but and it's been like translated into 26 languages.
Yeah.
It's a big international.
And, a lot of people know of
right,
it, and it's a crowd pleaser. That's perfect.
Right.
And then Song of Iphigenia.
Yeah, and then Song of Iphigenia will finish the season.
That's so exciting.
The world premiere.
What spaces are you going to use for the
We're
Song of
doing
Iphigenia?
everything but Nonsense in our small space, in our MTA space this year. So we're only going to do one show in the big space.
Okay.
And part of that is we recently got these really amazing orchestral shells for the choir, and so the orchestra and the wind on the music ensembles and all this. So we're kind of trying to feature them in the season a little bit. But also that small space, we've been really working on the lighting and upgrading things in there. And it's becoming a really fun space to play in.
And it's a really intense, fun way to experience theater.
Right.
Especially, because I don't think we talked since... I mean, well, we know I did, but about Dracula.
No, right. Oh, yeah.
Dracula was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the earliest shows I did.
You did both stratagem in there.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying with you was a Dracula.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
was a some type of Dracula thing.
Oh, I remember it.
Where I painted on like a giant
Widow's Peak. That was
It was in high school. It was like a summer camp thing.
Yeah, you were Dracula, and then Caitlin Riley was Renfield. No, not Renfield. No, maybe was some character or had some sort of accent.
Oh yeah,
I think they were in middle school or something.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
This is a blast from the past.
Yeah. And Lauren. Was she one of the brides?
Possibly
Dracula's brides or whatever.
Maybe,
the very scary, frightening brides of Dracula.
yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Needless to say, it was not.
It was a high school summer, high school summer camp style.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes, we got to experience like a smart professor get his hand all right. It was good for us to experience.
Well, and I was amazed at that experience because I thought, well, let's do something that everyone understands and knows. Dracula, vampires. Mm-hmm. Everyone loves vampires. Yeah. And I discovered, no, some people have no reference at all for vampires. Had no connection whatsoever to...
Vampires are the devil.
Right. Perhaps.
Do you have a secret talent?
Oh.
Like a talent that it's tough to ask this of like performers, because like you're gonna pull out everything you can. Right. it's like for my resume, just like I can juggle.
Right.
But is there anything that you've been doing? Maybe that's not even has anything to do with theater. It's like I've been getting good with this. I know you did yoga. You're a big you're a yogi, and
I technically am. Yeah.
Yeah, and but that's not necessarily a secret. But is there anything maybe in the yoga sphere that you can do that is just abnormal, secret?
I can leave my body as we're speaking and try. No, I've left my body, Eric.
I'm gone.
I've been gone for the last 10 minutes.
I've left.
I'm now in the Himalaya. No, that's interesting. Like yoga, and I came like my me really diving into a yoga practice and training and whatnot, a little, like, I guess kind of in around your age now, maybe a little younger. I did it off and on when I was younger, when I was a dancer and performer.
Yeah.
But like my peak flexibility days
Yeah.
were not, I was not past them, but they were tailing off. So I never got to do, as I might have done a little more when I was younger, like the party trick yoga as much. I did a few.
What is party trick?
Well, party trick of like, okay, you're doing like, you're standing on one hand and your leg is wrapped around your head and you're balancing. And
so
then
you're
like,
saying you've never done that?
I've done.
You've attempted it.
I've done a few. I used to be able to do a few poses, but like some of the party trick yoga, I was like, okay, I'm not. I'm too old. I'm too old to do that. And what's funny,
I don't have to prove anything to you.
Stan, his name's Stan, Stan Hafner, my yoga guru, and he would punch me. He's like, I'm no guru, or whatever. Maybe not punch me. He would just be like,
he would push me down the stairs.
Push me down the stairs, with his breath. But he, you know, he often talked to, because he's an old yogi from the 70s and 60s when the yoga was coming in he's one of the original people who like brought it here or was part of that movement that was like, now everyone goes, oh, that's when
right.
Ashtanga yoga happened, all that. He was all part of that.
Okay.
And had these amazing yogas from India coming and staying in his house in Austin or whatever. And they were his teachers. And he would go to India and train, but he'd always he'd talk about, he used to be able to do that kind of yoga, but then like at some point he got older and he got an injury and he was like, I can't do this anymore. And he asked his guru, he was like, Guru, like, what do? I can't do the primary series. I can't do sequence. You know, I can't do the yoga anymore. I might die. He goes like, yoga death, good death. And that's where Stan was like, I don't know about that.
Yoga death, good death. That's awesome.
So he found another yoga path, or a branch of that lineage, or sibling of that lineage, to that where yoga was a little more, you do the appropriate yoga for your body at your age, you know, because the whole point of yoga is to make you, or not the whole point, one of the objectives of it is to the physical practice is to be able to make the body physically able to meditate, to sit and meditate, to be still, to be able to have the psychological and I'm not even really psychological, the spiritual and energetic journey. Like the physical thing is one thing, but that's just one part of the yoga pie.
Right.
So,
okay.
So I was more, you know, I was getting more into the meditative side and the physical side. I had the physical practice, but it's a much gentler than party trick yoga, where you're like balancing on your hands and your legs, your scorpion pose,
sure.
And you're all this like, I would try some of that, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay.
So no special.
I think that is a secret like I would call that.
I do know a lot, and I've taken, I mean, I have so many hours of like taking yoga classes and yoga teacher trainings. I haven't in a while like that. I still do that on my own. It's still part of my daily life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But not as like I used to do like my own practice at least like 30 minutes, an hour a day.
Wow.
You know, and then I got a knee injury a few years ago, and that changed up, but I'm working my way back into it now. But it's looking very much different as I'm approaching 50, you know, as opposed to like when I was 30.
Yeah.
Because well, then I'm enjoying I'm just gonna hang out in this pose for a few minutes
and breathe.
Yeah, I enjoy that. When I was younger, I was like, no, move, sweat, feel.
Engage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would that. And that's really like when you're younger, you know, and you have a different yoga practice because your body needs different things. Mm-hmm. You need that energetic stimulation in order to have the body chill out so you can just like lay on the floor for 30 minutes. And do nothing,
right?
Or attempt to do nothing. And whereas now I'm like, oh, I'm okay with doing nothing.
Yeah,
like with my little daughter, who's amazing. We have a little area in our living room that we've like caged off with little playpen walls so she can crawl around. All her toys are there, and I'm just like laying on the floor in there, Okay, this is fine. You know, come over and throw things at me and
It is
whack me in the face.
It is interesting that you are now like the professor, but also the dad.
I am the dad,
like,
which is wacky, wacky.
Is there anything that you're discovering about teaching or mentoring that has changed now that you've become a father?
Well, I think I've said that I've said this to some other people, like being older and becoming a dad, then the person who's like, yeah, I'm 22 and I've got a baby,
I've got a baby,
and he's coming and we're going to the store, man. We're going to movies. Well, your baby's only 3 months old. No, but we went to see Die Hard 7, man.
And we both
Fast and Furious, and we love it.
We split a case of Mountain Dew.
Exactly. My baby and I play what's a game the kids play?
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite together
Roblox.
all night long. Like I'm not there. So the trade-off is I don't have as much, just fountains of energy and stamina that I once did.
Sure.
But also I'm a little more content to be like, oh, you do you, kiddo. Like, you do you. Like, I'm not missing out on anything.
Right.
Just hanging out in the living room while my child laughs she loves to she's the destroyer. She loves it, on the shelf for the TV stand will be DVDs, and she just loves pulling each one off and going and throwing it to the ground.
That's awesome.
And then looks at me and goes and I'm just like, you keep knocking, and she knocks all the DVDs down, and then I pick them up.
She knows you like it. It's like secretly.
Right. And I put them back up, and she goes at it again. And if that's me for 2 hours, I'm fine.
That's
I'm fine with
awesome.
that.
But like, has anything about how you interact with students?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, has your, I don't know, like, have you softened up? Have you become more strict? And maybe this will happen as your child gets older.
Oh, I'm sure.
But you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like there's a difference between professors with kids, like, when they got kids at home, but then they're also dealing with like kids at school or whatever. And then you're not, all of them are kids, but college students.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying?
No, I do. And I think, yes.
Mentalities might shift.
I would say,
don't know.
and I think I was kind of getting to this place prior, but this sort of speeded up that process, and I can think back to some of the productions we worked on when you were a student there.
Yeah.
And, and I remember almost all of those very fondly. And like I mentioned earlier, the Bow Stratagem, I still think is one of the best shows that we put on in that space.
Very fun.
It was a good show. It had its problems.
Yeah.
Like I remember the tech, problems. We almost died.
Get your shit together.
We almost died. That set almost killed us. But also I don't remember so much, but I do remember at times around those days of getting really worked up or getting really twisted into a pretzel about certain things or certain that, or worrying about other things. And I think now, and this has happened a little bit, over time, but I think more and more I'm just like, we'll figure it out, and it's not being, it's not swinging the entire way of just like, whatever, man, do whatever you want. But it's more like
don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah, don't sweat the small stuff. And it's part of the process, the artistic process.
People are still learning.
Right. Well, and also,
part of the ebb and flow, just.
And everyone's going to have the opportunity to do their best work in an environment that is calm and relaxed and open and compassionate. And so even though sometimes you got to go, okay, knock it off, motherfucker. There's some of that.
What was that?
yeah, exactly.
You take that outside.
And oh, you were acting then.
Yeah.
Oh, forgive me. Let's see it again. Yeah. Still acting, are we? Oh. So I mean, there's still a little bit of that.
Sure.
But also like we're all, that's going to create the possibility for good art to occur more so than environment just wound really tight.
Yeah.
And I also think it with the child, like when I'm with her, I'm trying to keep the child
The child and the professor.
when I'm with her, I'm trying to focus on her and occasionally my wife, and our in our family, and so my energy's focused there. So I'm not taking the work home with me as much as because just out of self-preservation.
Yeah, you can.
Where I think before I would take it home with me more just because I'm like wrapped up in it.
Yeah, it's like, this is what it is.
It's got to be like, why isn't this working? And those moments still happen. But like at the same time, it's like, well, okay, we've got to get this. We've got to make this.
Yeah.
Get this together.
Yeah. That's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And I love you're right. I'm interested to see as she grows up.
Yeah.
If she doesn't abandon me, throw me to the wolves.
I've outgrown you.
Pushes me down the stairs.
4 years old. Like, I don't need you anymore.
Yeah, I'm moving on, Father.
I've learned 7 languages. Yeah.
That how that changes, my perception of things, and how I interact with especially creatively with the students.
Yeah, but she'll definitely need you, but I mean, kids born maybe 10 years from now, they just have parents that are AI.
I'm right. No, without a doubt.
They won't need us.
I know. People are going to be like, Siri, change my child.
Yeah.
Change their nappy. Siri, the baby's hungry, Siri.
Scrolling on future Amazon.
Yeah, right.
Just fix the baby up. Yeah. Teacher Chinese, Spanish today. You give her all these languages. Just they could teach them all kinds of stuff.
And I see that too because I'm now a new parent with people who are like 18, 20.
Yeah.
As well. People who are, oh dear God, 30 years behind me.
Right.
Ish. But and so I see them, and nothing wrong with their parenting, but I just see the different vibe it has to the way my wife and I are kind of approaching it. And it's very interesting because, like, again, it's they're in the saddle. They're like, get the baby and let's go. We gotta go to Chuck E. Cheese or whatever, because I'm not gonna give up my weekends at Chuck E. Cheese. Bring the baby. Where I'm like, oh, it's loud and crazy there. We're not bringing the child there. Like,
right,
So it's very interesting. I think that's, and I do think, and we're trying to limit her screen time, but we've already lost that battle. Yeah. It is so hard. And that child, if we're on the phone, that child is just like if I open my laptop, she goes, ah, and just like, I want that. And we're like, no, you don't. You don't understand.
It's endless information.
Yeah.
I wonder, if they'll learn stuff faster, slower. I don't know.
I have no idea.
If we assume we could trace the downfall of the human race to a specific moment in the last 20 or 30 years, what do you think it is? Mine is when they discontinued the orange mocha frappuccino at Starbucks, as featured in Zoolander.
That is heinous. That was a heinous occurrence.
Do you know what I'm saying? If it's something specific, because we could be broad and just like the internet, but if it's a specific moment, what do you think it would be?
That's a good question. I'm inclined, since I love movies and I teach a class on movies. Those of you attending MCC, take that class. To feel like it's cinema, like it's movies' fault or whatever.
Ooh, okay.
But I don't know. So the downfall, when did the prequels come out? The Star Wars prequels?
Like 99.
Okay.
Because 99 was Phantom Menace, I believe.
Right. I think, and there was still, so like 1998, 99, like that's when the Matrix
2000.
Matrix came out. No, I think you're right.
Okay.
I think around 99. I think you're right.
Okay.
There's the period of film, like movies were amazing. Like they're like when you look at like Fight Club.
Yes.
And I mean you can just list
the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, like there's this little pocket of the late 90s, early aughts that was like movie making was off the charts.
Crazy.
And then something happened. Many like audio or movie files or would blame it on like Marvel movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's all, because those are, the Iron Man's amazing film.
Right.
But I'm trying to think of that one. What's that one movie that ended everything? I don't. I feel like it's like. I almost want to say like the sequel to The Matrix is like because
just a giant sign. That
right.
things are going
Like maybe
down.
it's the third one, the last one, where you're like, however it ends, where there's like a billion Neos, and Neo is birthing Neo or whatever.
Yeah.
He was the what, and you're just like, huh. And so maybe that's the beginning of the end.
Okay.
Maybe it's because it was real and the Matrix is real. And so we found out the truth. And so I don't know.
Oh my God.
There are probably other more important things.
Okay, I won't suck up any more every time.
No, that's fine. Suck it all away.
What?
Suck away.
What? What? To go to a more positive note.
Yes.
What is the most positive thought you have about the future?
Oh.
Like, what is a positive aspect of the future?
I sound really optimistic or really Pollyanna. I mean, even, and every generation, I feel like everyone's been saying, like, back to the Romans, where they're like, the Romans are like, well,
Bloody Romans.
yeah, we lost Great Britain or whatever. We had to retreat with the Lost Legion or whatever. The world is like it's not like it used to be, or like these are the worst of times. I mean, Charles Dickens himself, these are the best of times, worst of times. Like every generation feels like everything is falling apart. Which, is a whole nother discussion about religions. We're built around that. And there's a reason why they are. Because we always feel like the world is ending. So a very easy sell. Well, the world's ending, don't you know? Like, you know what? My life is crap. I think it is ending. I'm with this guy. The world's ending. So in spite of all the craziness that is in the world today and was in the world yesterday and will be in the world tomorrow, we... think like you and me sitting here, we can still laugh. We can still find our ways to laugh and connect as human beings. And I do feel like social media, I mean, if I want to be honest, the thing that I think is ending the universe was the death of MySpace and the rise of Facebook. MySpace was so gentle and calm, and for the most part, I think it's a little creepy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you. But yeah, I think
but the fact that we, in spite of us all being stuck on our phones and just people now lashing out at their neighbors, and drawing lines in the sand, you're like, there is no sand. Well, I'm drawing a line. Right. That we can still come together and connect as human beings and laugh, and we can still laugh.
Yeah.
And we can still find that joy and connection. It's still there. It may be a little hard to, foggy and muddy, and there's still, I think, enough of us in the world who want to do that and want to laugh.
Right. I agree.
Through the noise of the garbage.
The
garbage.
I think that's a really good answer. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's important, and because like I try to have a fun podcast. Like I try to have a like so they don't, I don't want people to come here and then it's like, oh, he's only talking about serious dumb,
right.
And so yeah, I agree. I think people can come together and still laugh, and I really think that's why I really want to do the live show.
Oh yeah.
Because I think live performance and live art is going to be what people crave as
100%
as things move forward,
And I think people still do. I mean, you look at, I'm being, like whatever, Coachella, like Benson Boone on Coachella, but like you watch that
T-Pain at Coachella was the bomb.
I watch that, I'm like, oh my God. And the performances are insane and the audiences are just loving it. Now, the only problem I have is everyone's watching with their phone up and you're like, put your phone down and just watch it and just soak it up.
And that part is
but also the reason why I can watch it is because everyone's putting their phone.
Somebody got a really good shot.
Yeah.
And the best shot rose above the rest in
Right.
the algorithm.
Right, exactly. But so we still want that. We still need that, and nothing can replace that.
No.
The AI cannot replace that.
Yep.
At least for now.
For now.
Maybe in 15 years, it'll create a whole legion of Benson Boones, backflipping everywhere.
Mitchell and I were talking about Westworld.
Yeah.
And like how,
Yeah.
like, like that. I was like, if
I mean, Japan's like, what's your and?
yeah, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
They'll do it, no problem. But yeah. Speaking of live show, this is just an Easter egg. This is not going to be publicized anywhere else. If you're still listening and watching to this episode, Kelly, are you going to be at the live show?
Eric, yes, I will. I will be at the live show.
And I wonder what capacity he'll be in the live show.
Will I be live or dead? You decide. Wait a minute. You don't decide. Post in the comments.
There's just
dead or alive.
There's an overwhelming like dead. It's like,
oh shit.
Sir, they want you dead. They want you dead for the show.
The people have spoken.
People have spoken. It's like just hands are tied to the algorithm, I guess. Oh man, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
If you know Kelly, you're gonna want to see it. September 13th. Yeah, let's
mark your watches. Is that what you do? Mark your watch.
Yeah,
September 13th.
Tell Alexa or whatever, Siri, put it in your calendars. But that's why I want to push for live stuff with this thing and like grow it in that way, because I think that's very important. I could ask you a million.
Yes,
questions. I could ask you a million more questions.
I could hang out here all day.
But it was so amazing for you to come, and maybe I'll save some of these for another time or whatever. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we maybe forgot to bring up?
I don't think so.
Before we wrap it up?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, once again, you've been an amazing mentor, my favorite professor of all time. Like, it's a huge honor that I get to bring you to do this, that you even want to do it. That like it's huge. And but thank you so much. This is the professor signing off. He works mysteriously in the shadows.
Bye.
If you are a student, current student, you're really lucky to have Kelly Parker, the professor. Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets. Anything else you want to say before we jump out of here? Good. Do we forget anything?
I'm good. No, I was going to say something rude, but oh well. But we'll save it for next time.
Next time, yes. Thank you all. Good night. Good morning. However you're listening, watching, consuming this podcast. See you later.
I see you have chosen the right path. Henceforth, you will be known as a wimp. Welcome to the Worst Impressions Podcast. There's something strange in here. What's the deal with wimps? Well,